Hello and welcome to Thomas Geiger Car. Today with a car I've been waiting to drive for months. The long-awaited BMW XM, the first exclusive M model since decades. No, it's not a successor of the legendary M1, which was an ultra-flat super sports car. It's an SUV, because everything is SUV today. But it's not an ordinary SUV, it's one of its kind. And if you want to know what to expect from that vehicle that will hit the roads later that year, join me on my first test drive and I'll tell you more about it. We're here at the Concours d'Elegance in Amelia Island, a place where the most prestigious classic cars in the world gather. This car is not a classic yet, but it fits perfectly well into this scenery because it's a great toy for rich people, and rich people are here quite a few. It is 5 meters 11 in length, so it has quite a stance. And if the size would not stick out enough, they have put lots of gold cladding on the vehicle. You don't have to buy it, but if you want to stick out of the crowd, you'll have a gold rim around the windows, you have golden wheels, and even the kidney grille is golden nowadays. So if you see this grille in your rearview mirror, you better move to the side because a very powerful BMW is coming, and most probably a very important person is behind the wheel. I'm not really important, but at least I finally have the key. So if we want to know if this car in the interior is also different than all we know from BMW and how the car finally drives, join me and we'll prove the pudding in the eating and the car in the driving. Finally driving the long-awaited XM, and on the first glimpse it looks almost familiar because it has the BMW operation system. Generation 8 means the curved display that we know from iX, X7, X5, X6, so it's pretty familiar. But since it's an M model, we have some tweaks from Garching, and since it's a luxury model, we have even more tweaks from the jewelry store, looking like that very interesting roof with the lightning and with the geometrical shape. Same as on the seats, and the material is just over the top. It feels more like a sporty Rolls-Royce Cullinan than a pimped BMW. But we all know that from the static displays and the static walkarounds we already had. But today it's all about driving, and what is driving us here is a proper V8 engine, 4.4 liters, delivering 489 horsepower alone. But since the M GmbH isn't about shortage of power, they just added an electric motor with another 189 horsepower, totaling to 653 horsepower. That's quite a lot, and the car goes fast as hell. 4.3 seconds from 0 to 100, and a top speed of, if you're not in America, 270 kilometers per hour. But since there is also a battery of 26 kilowatt hours mounted, you can drive pure electric for about 88 kilometers, and that lowers the consumption to a record-breaking 1.5 liters per 100 kilometers, at least in theory. So you have the driving performance of an M1, you have the luxury of a 7 Series, and you have the consumption of a small compact car, or even less. That's a combination pretty new, and that's not the end of the story. BMW is putting up a red label series, adding more power to the V8 and totaling with more than 750 horsepower, making it the most powerful M model built till today, at least when it comes to road legal cars, giving you the feeling you're driving a race car, but you can carry all your loved ones with you. Usually it's all about driving in a BMW. There's a reason why they call it sheer driving pleasure, especially when it comes to the M model. The seat behind the steering wheel is the seat to opt for. But in this car it's a kind of a different story. Since it's also a luxury model and their flagship model, they've put quite a lot of thoughts and quite a lot of ingenious detailing into the rear seat. And once in a while, it's not too bad to swap to the back seat, which I will do on the next parking spot. So we have a totally new bench, never have a third seat row, don't have two single seats, no. It's a new bench with a more lounge style, so around at the curves we have an entry, easy entry padding here, so giving you more a lounge feeling instead of a bus feeling or a soccer mom's car feeling. And not only the stitching and the seating itself is very special, no, if we look to the roof, we see a 3D printed style thing. Usually we have panoramic roofs. In this car, it's always with these 3D patterns that are perfectly illustrated and illuminated with the ambience lighting and giving the car another twist. Not that I would opt to sit here if I could sit in the front, but if somebody else is driving, should be very comfy on the back seat as well. Thanks for joining me on that first test drive with the first BMW XM here in Amelia Island, the place where all the fancy people take a look at the fancy cars. Yes, today it's all about classics, but this car might become a future classic. It drives great, it looks outstanding, it is luxurious, it's expensive, it is exclusive. So it's the car to go. If you love the M1, you might like the XM as well.